After President Trump gave his speech at the Israeli parliament today, he then, you might have seen, he went to Egypt to go sign things. We don't exactly know what the things were that he signed, but they purported to be related to the Israeli-Hamas ceasefire deal, the release. He turned and he said to the strongman leader of Egypt, who took power in a military coup, a guy who Trump in his first term called his favorite dictator, Trump turned to the microphone today in Egypt and he said this. He said, "There was a reason we chose Egypt, because you were very helpful. Everybody wanted to have this. You are a great leader. You have very little crime." And then he said, quote, "I want to thank you. He's been my friend right from the beginning during the campaign against crooked Hillary Clinton. Have you heard of her?" He's gesturing to the president of Egypt and saying, "He's been my friend from the beginning during the campaign against crooked Hillary Clinton." Why is he talking about Hillary Clinton today? In the midst of everything else. Why is he talking about Hillary Clinton in Egypt? How in the heck does Hillary Clinton have anything to do with him being in Egypt, with his relationship with the president of Egypt? Yeah, it turns out, funny story. In Donald Trump's 2016 run for president against Hillary Clinton, one of the unexplained twists in that campaign was that Trump picked a foreign leader to call his favorite dictator during the campaign, which is not a typical thing that an American presidential candidate might do. You might think that the American people might not like that, but Trump went out on a limb and did that anyway. Before he was elected, during the campaign, he singled out the military strongman leader of Egypt as his favorite dictator. He actually showered him with all sorts of inexplicable praise. And I mean, it was inexplicable because, I mean, this is not something for which there's like a big domestic audience during a presidential campaign. Why do you want to vote for somebody for president who's praising who his favorite dictator is and why he likes this military strongman abroad? It was so weird. But he was really sort of insistent about it just a few weeks before Election Day, as Donald Trump's campaign was running out of money. And it really looked like he was going to lose to Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump, at the height of the 2016 presidential campaign, he took a one-on-one meeting with the president of Egypt. And he came out of that meeting and he called the president of Egypt a, quote, fantastic guy. He promised him that if Donald Trump, was elected president, the United States would be a, quote, loyal friend to Egypt. And then when Trump, in fact, was elected, he very much made good on that. He brought the president of Egypt to be one of his first guests at the White House. Egypt, really? He showered him with totally unqualified praise. What's that about? Then he gave Egypt nearly $200 million that his own Trump-appointed State Department leadership opposed him giving. Then he gave them more than $1 billion after that. He just loved the president of Egypt. Couldn't do enough for the president of Egypt. Couldn't say why he loved him so much, but he just kept pouring it on. What was that about?
I want to thank you. Another one. We've been my friends right from the beginning during the campaign against crooked Hillary Clinton.
That was today. He's been my friend right from the beginning during the campaign against crooked Hillary Clinton. I want to thank you. Something about his love for Egypt's president goes back to his campaign against Hillary Clinton in 2016. What could that be? Oh, right. Last year, there was landmark reporting from the Washington Post, including our own Carol Leonnig, about one of the Justice Department investigations into Donald Trump that was shut down by his appointees once he became president. This was the headline, quote, $10 million cash withdrawal drove secret probe into whether Trump took money from Egypt. Now, when this story was published by the Washington Post, Trump's campaign, of course, called it fake news. But here's what that reporting said. During his campaign in 2016 against Hillary Clinton, the Trump campaign really had run out of money. His advisors were begging him to put in more of his own money into the campaign, and he was reportedly saying, no, 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 he couldn't do it, or at least he wouldn't do it. But then he met with the president of Egypt, this inexplicable meeting he took at the height of the campaign with the president of Egypt. And somehow, shortly thereafter, he changed his mind about how much money he could give to his campaign. Yes, suddenly he could give $10 million of his own money to his campaign in the last crucial weeks before the election. He had somehow come up with $10 million that he felt he could afford to give his campaign. Interestingly, at the time, it was little noticed, but he said he would give that $10 million as a loan, not as a donation. So that meant he would expect to be paid back that $10 million. Donald Trump, at the very last minute, supercharges his 2016 campaign with a $10 million loan right at the end. He then does win the election. Does Donald Trump ever get that $10 million back? That $10 million that he may or may not have been good for? I don't know. But the Justice Department reportedly found that 5 days before he was inaugurated, mysteriously, an organization linked to the Egyptian intelligence service withdrew almost exactly $10 million in cash from the National Bank of Egypt. They stuffed bundles of $100 bills into two huge bags that weighed a combined 200 pounds. It was nearly all the U.S. dollar cash reserves that the Egyptian government had. 200 pounds of cash, $10 million cash, loaded into bags and taken out of the National Bank of Egypt. And poof, nobody knows where that money went. Now, for seasoned investigators, like you'll find in the upper echelons of the U.S. Justice Department, it is theoretically possible to find where money like that might have gone. But under Bill Barr, the Trump Justice Department shut down that investigation, so the relevant bank accounts were never looked at. What potentially could have been a gigantic bribe to Donald Trump to aid his 2016 campaign was never traced. And so no one knows to this day officially why exactly Trump, all these years later, is still thanking the strongman leader of Egypt for something he did to help Trump in his 2016 campaign against Hillary Clinton.
I want to thank you. Another one. We've been my friends right from the beginning during the campaign against crooked Hillary Clinton.
Still thanking him all these years later. Front of mind whenever he sees the president of Egypt all these years later.